I was talking to a guy today at work, and he asked me a question that I've actually been asked a lot here lately. And he said, what is your biggest fear about carrying a concealed firearm? Or is there something you're more apprehensive about being a CCW? And depending on who you ask that question to is going to determine the answer you get. While most newer people, or people that are just starting to carry, are going to have concerns with, okay, is it concealed enough? What if somebody sees it? What happens if somebody asks me a question about it? What if it slips out of my holster and I drop it and it hits the ground? Or what if it accidentally discharges? And these are all legitimate concerns. But as long as you practice proper firearm safety techniques and you have a good holster system, these are fears that will subside in time as you become more accustomed to carrying. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you've heard me say many, many times, the absolute last thing in the world you want to do is pull a firearm on another human being. Now, I'm talking about a normal, sane person pulling a firearm on another human being, not these crazies that are out there doing these shootings. Like this guy in Alabama that kidnapped that 5-year-old boy, and thank goodness that little boy's going to be all right. Or the Newtown shooter, the Aurora shooter, the Tucson shooter, or this guy that killed Chris Kyle this past weekend. These were all people with known mental issues, okay, but yet they're still out on the street. Why aren't they doing something about that instead of coming after our Second Amendment rights? Now, all of these gun legislations and all of these proposed gun laws that are coming up, everybody here knows that they're just going to restrict the law-abiding gun owner. It's an attack on us. It's an attack on our country. It's an attack on our Second Amendment rights. Instead of addressing what is actually really wrong, the mental issue, they're attacking us. They're attacking law-abiding citizens because everybody here knows that criminals don't care what the law says. So my biggest fear, if I have any, and it's not so much being deathly afraid of it, it's having a respectful fear for it, of understanding what it means if I have to pull that firearm on another human being. If I touch this thing, I'm prepared to use it. And if you're not prepared to use it, if you touch it, you need to keep your hands off of it. And you know that it has to be the absolute last resort. Okay? So, because you're thinking right now with all of this gun legislation going on and all this emotional fervor that's going on right now, you're sitting there looking around, okay, is there enough different video sources that they can get the full footage of showing that I am actually the good guy with the gun, and so that it's not just from one source so that MSNBC can edit it and make it look like I'm the bad guy. And we all know that that's been done many, many times, not just by them, but by other news organizations as well. So if I have a fear, that's it. And it's not so much of having to pull it, it's the ramifications from it. But as a concealed carrier and as somebody that is taking responsibility for my own personal defense and the defense of my family, that is a burden that I bear. And I dare say most of us concealed carriers and most of us law-abiding gun owners, we bear that responsibility quite well. That's all I got, guys. We'll talk to you later.